Coming up tonight on YCN News, possible presidential candidate and Republican governor of Texas, Rick Perry, visits New Hampshire. Veterans Day ceremonies commence locally. And Randolph, Vermont teens are in custody after allegedly threatening other students. For more news, weather, and sports, it's time for YCN, your local view.
Now, your daily digest of the Dartmouth Lake Sunapee region, southern Vermont, and Windsor County. News, sports, weather, and all that is happening in our area. The news on YCN, your local view.
Good evening and welcome to this Monday edition of YCN News. I'm Rose Spillman. He didn't run for re-election, but Republican Governor Rick Perry of Texas may not be away from the political scene for too long. YCN's Lisa Connell explains.
It's really great to see a good crowd. It's not a Texas-sized crowd, but for Sunapee, this is a pretty good crowd.
Rick Perry may be mulling another run for president in 2016, based on his visit yesterday to west central New Hampshire and the Upper Valley. About 45 people gathered at Dexter's Inn in Sunapee to hear Perry speak on national issues, including immigration. About 40 minutes later, it was time for Perry to voice his views on the economy, including the nation's relationship with Canada and Mexico regarding oil reserves and production. Perry says development of oil reserves to the country's north and south will create jobs and make us energy independent, especially in Mexico, where this could lead to job creation and stem the flow of people escaping violence and poverty. That topic led to Perry's main focus of the night on how to deal with illegal immigration to the U.S. Perry says the country needs to secure its borders, especially along the 300 miles running along the U.S. and Mexico. Then, as Sunday night's audience listened, he would encourage the president to work with Congress on immigration reform. In his talk, Perry used some sports metaphors to get his point across, and the gift of hindsight. With Congress now ready to be controlled by Republicans in January, this could be the time when the GOP can make its case for the presidency. Perry used his state of Texas as an example of what can be achieved, not only in the Lone Star State, but nationwide by following GOP standards. This means less tax and legal regulation for businesses, and making public schools accountable to provide a trained workforce. The Lord's given us one more opportunity, and we better not fritter it away, says Perry. Yesterday, in front of the audience, Governor Rick Perry of Texas never officially declared that he was running for president in 2016. Certainly, he's testing the waters. That's probably what a lot of other candidates between now and the scheduled February 9th, 2016 New Hampshire presidential primary will be doing. For YCN News, I'm Lisa Connell.
Besides its role in national political races, New Hampshire also is known for its natural beauty. Sometimes that beauty leads to risk-taking by outdoor enthusiasts who may not be prepared for the weather or changes in the regional climate. To help defray the cost of rescues by state law enforcement and wildlife officers, individuals and families are encouraged to buy a Hike Safe card. The cards cost $25 and $35 respectively. On January 1, 2015, the law that Governor Maggie Hassan signed into effect this year will be enacted. Those who pay for the card and need help from rescuers, if they get into trouble, will not be charged for the cost of the rescue if precautions were taken by outdoor lovers beforehand. However, if police determine that a person or person acted recklessly and didn't prepare for hiking, boating, or skiing or trail riding trip, rescue costs could be charged. For more information, go online to wildnh.com and click on Buy a License online. There is no actual card. Purchase information can be printed out by the consumer or saved as a PDF on a smartphone. Funds raised through sale of Hike Safe cards will go to Fish and Game's Search and Rescue Fund, with the exception of a $3 transaction fee going to the automated issuing system vendor. New Hampshire Fish and Game Executive Director Glenn Normando says no one knows how much money the Hike Safe card will raise. Still, it will add some money to the Search and Rescue Fund going forward. A good first step, he says. Each year, about 180 search and rescue missions are undertaken. Veterans Day ceremonies are upon us. Today is the 239th birthday of the United States Marine Corps. On this day in Philadelphia in 1775, the Corps was founded by Samuel Nicholas per order of the Second Continental Congress. The American Revolution witnessed the Marine Corps founding. About 90 years later, the nation's focus would be on soldiers fighting in the U.S. Civil War. Tomorrow at 5:30 p.m., Claremont will honor its Civil War soldiers. That's when the statue on Broad Street Park will be lit. 73 men from Claremont died as a result of fighting in the war between the states. In Newport, veterans shared their experiences with elementary school students on Friday. Continuing a tradition of informing youngsters about the nation's military history is an important event. In Claremont tomorrow from 11 a.m. to noon, speakers will honor veterans. The tribute will include an honor guard, band, and bugler. Please join YCN News in paying tribute to all of our country's military veterans. We will be showing Birth of Freedom and Noble Heroes tonight and tomorrow night at 8 and 8:30 p.m. The performances of the world-famous Mormon Tabernacle Choir and Orchestra at Temple Square of these two programs will inspire you. When YCN News returns, a man from Ludlow, Vermont is charged with trespassing, unlawful restraint, domestic assault, and disorderly conduct. And young teens of Randolph, Vermont are in custody after allegedly threatening other students.
The YCN News continues in a moment.
Welcome back to YCN News. I'm Rose Spillman. A 24-year-old man from Ludlow, Vermont is being held on $5,000 cash bail charged with alleged trespassing, unlawful restraint, domestic assault, and disorderly conduct, report state police. Police were called to 7 Depot Street in Cavendish, Vermont, minutes before midnight yesterday on a report of a man trying to get into the home. Upon arrival, Aaron Fitzgerald was found by police standing in the middle of the intersection on Route 131 and Depot Street, yelling and screaming. Police learned during their investigation that earlier Fitzgerald allegedly broke into the home and pushed the female owner to the ground, blocking her exit. The woman was able to talk to Fitzgerald and convince him to leave. He did, and the woman called state police. After trying several times to get back into the home, Fitzgerald allegedly broke a nearby car window. Police arrived and Fitzgerald was taken into custody and taken to the Rockingham State Police Barracks. Windsor County Court Clerk Terry Scott was contacted. She ordered Fitzgerald to be held at the Southern State Correctional Facility in Springfield for lack of $5,000 bail. A 34-year-old Bennington, Vermont man is charged by state police with climbing through a window this morning to get into the home of his estranged girlfriend. Jedediah Lampron is scheduled to be in court tomorrow on the criminal trespassing charge, report police. Police went to the home of 33-year-old Jessica Harrington of Shaftesbury after Harrington caught Lampron climbing through the window without her permission. Harrington pushed Lampron out the window, locked it, and waited for police to arrive. Lampron fled. Police found him at his Bennington home. After fleeing, Lampron also allegedly texted Harrington, something he lied to police about when they spoke to him. It is unknown why Lampron was climbing through the window. Their names are being withheld because they are juveniles, but police say the crimes they are charged with are serious. Randolph, Vermont police say 14 and 15-year-old teens are accused of criminally threatening other students and an adult over the weekend. Acting Chief Loretta Stolniker says in a statement the juveniles are in custody after allegedly making threats to other Randolph residents. Police asked for and received consent to search both teens' homes. Several bladed weapons were found by police. Randolph Union High School administrators notified the school community that the weapons and teens were in police custody as of yesterday evening. The investigation continues, say police. When YCN News returns, we'll hear from Kearsarge Chronicles' Lynn Solomon, who met with Susan Reeves from the Colby Sawyer College Department of Nursing.
The YCN News continues in a moment.
Welcome back to YCN News. I'm Rose Spillman. Now Matt McDonald will have a look at our weather for the next few days and then move on to sports.
Thanks, Rose. Tonight we'll have partly cloudy skies with lows around 34 degrees. Tomorrow we'll have a high of 57 with mostly cloudy skies and winds around 5 miles per hour. Tomorrow night we'll have patchy fog after 2 a.m. with partly cloudy skies and lows in the 40s. Wednesday we have a 30% chance of precipitation with a chance of showers between 4 and 5 p.m. Skies will be partly sunny and highs will be in the 50s and winds up to 10 miles per hour. Wednesday night we'll have mostly clear skies with a low of 31 degrees. You can see here on our national radar map that we are in the clear from any storms currently, but snowstorms out west may reach us in a few days. Now let's see what's coming up on our community calendar. Tomorrow in Vermont, the Windsor Select Board will meet at 7 p.m. Remember, you can submit local events from your community by sending them to news@ycnnow.com. Last Saturday, the Newport Tigers hosted an NHI AA Division II Northern Conference semifinal game versus the Mascoma Valley Royals from West Canaan, New Hampshire. Newport marched down the field on their first possession. Here, Riley Cook covers the final 2 yards to give the Tigers the early 7-0 lead. The next time Newport had the ball, junior Noah Wade makes a great cutback and scampers 47 yards to give the Tigers a 13-0 lead midway through the first quarter. Mascoma's Walt Hammond helps keep the Royals in the game when he strips the ball from the Newport ball carrier and recovers the fumble himself. The halftime score was 13-0 Newport. In the third quarter, Wade scores again to give the Tigers some breathing room. Fortunately for Newport, Noah Wade still had some gas in the tank as the junior gets loose and rumbles 71 yards to put the Tigers up 28-0 early in the fourth quarter. Late in the fourth quarter, standout running back Andrew Cash busts loose through the Tiger line, makes a great move and sprints 60 yards before Newport's Stephen Nix tackles him on the 5-yard line. A little while later, Cash would score to put Mascoma on the board. With under a minute left in the ball game, Cash fields this punt and weaves his way 60 yards for the final score of the conference semifinal. The final score was Newport 34 to Mascoma 14. Newport will now host the Guilford Eagles in the Division II Northern Conference Championship game on Saturday afternoon. Just a reminder, the Mascoma vs. Newport game will be the YCN Game of the Week at 7:30 and 10:30 p.m. on Wednesday night. In other sports news, the Hanover High School girls won their weekend match against John Stark as part of the Division II girls soccer tournament. The final score was 2-1.
Thanks, Matt. When YCN News continues, we'll join Capital Connections' John O'Connor.
The YCN News continues in a moment.